2 years ago, here at Black Hat, Dan Kaminsky brought to light a significant weakness in the domain name system, a part of the Internet's core infrastructure that would allow users en masse to be unknowingly redirected. For example, to fake websites where passwords and other private information could be collected for clandestine use. This Black Hat conference is the 2-year anniversary of that historic announcement. The global security upgrade we are discussing today is a key part of the solution, and it is fitting that we are back here at Black Hat to announce it, and that Dan has joined us.
So implementing DNSSEC at the root lays the foundation for a stronger, safer global internet. And we get two immediate gains for this. The first is we can authenticate communication at the very core of the DNS architecture. And the second is we've established a platform for the development of additional services that can be layered on top of this to bring deeper trust into the internet. While there's still a lot of work to be done, I think Rod did not understate it. This is a historic milestone for DNS.
For the past 27 years, work in the ITEF community has defined the protocols that make up the domain name system. This includes the extensions that make up DNS security, or DNSSEC. DNSSEC is the result of an incredible amount of careful work by ITF participants. Work began over 17 years ago, with over 200 individuals contributing along the way. While the whole DNS solution is difficult to explain succinctly, DNSSEC can be thought of as tamper-proof packaging for the domain name information.
Dan, I'm honored to hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Rod. Can't say I really knew what I was getting into when I broke that whole DNS thing. Any discussion of DNSSEC always ends up coming back to the enormous collaboration and the enormous number of people who have been involved in making this happen. There were hundreds, thousands, maybe even more, who have gone into, over the last 18 years, making DNSSEC a reality. They believed. And the honest truth is, I was not one of the believers. I was pretty strongly one of the skeptics. I looked at DNSSEC and I said, this is a heck of a lot of work and I don't see the return on investment. I was wrong. It turns out this technology is truly significant. Not only for fixing my one little flaw. Yes, we put a Band-Aid on back in the day. Now we're actually putting the correct engineering fix, a cryptographic signature across all domain name system records. This is the correct approach for fixing the flaw that was discussed at this conference 2 years ago.
About 18 months ago, I sat down and said, okay, all my friends keep telling me I gotta look at this DNSSEC stuff. I'm gonna write a server. I didn't tell anyone, I just sat down and wrote one. About 18 months ago, I completely changed my tune on DNSSEC. Why? Because the server was really good. So all the things that I've been saying for the last 18 months about securing email, about securing the web, about making it possible to authenticate across organizational boundaries, you know what? I think all of y'all should be a little sick of it by now, because it's been a lot of talk and not a lot of code. And so I'm going to tell you all right now, in about 5 hours, we're going to be releasing a lot of code. And we're going to show you just how much value this technology is going to bring to securing the internet.
With DNSSEC, it seems to me we may have jumped a major hurdle, because we had a namespace that was already accepted. That had been developing for 20 or 25 years. And now we're merely introducing an authentication mechanism that runs within that namespace. And that now gives us something that will be deployed for its primary use, and once you have authenticated DNS identities, then you'll be able to press that farther and do more with it.
I guess one of the things I wanted to say is, since we've got the panel here, is congratulations on signing the root, Rod and Whit. So it's a very important milestone for the security of DNS. But it's just the first step. You know, oftentimes it's like 15, 20 years before we find some of the vulnerabilities in things, right? I mean, Dan's vulnerability in the DNS was there the whole time, right? But we didn't know about it. And then we found a solution, a short-term solution, and then, you know, people are getting a little bit complacent again, I would say, perhaps. And so we really need the hacker community to come out in force to help us find any additional vulnerabilities in the protocol as we try to put it out there.
So what happened? So, you know, now the root's been signed. So what does that mean? Does that mean the internet's now safe? No. What it means is that it now can become much safer. But what has to happen for it to become much safer? And there's really two major things that need to happen, two categories of things. Number one is to propagate the DNSSEC signings throughout the top-level domains of the internet. So as of today, there's a number 9 that I believe have been signed with the new DNSSEC root key. That's 9 out of roughly 270. So there's another 261 to go. So the namespace has to be secured in that fashion. Then there has to be the development of the applications to leverage this, whether it's the browsers or it's the email systems or any of the other systems that are leveraging the domain name system need to be evolved. And then, of course, as well, the ISPs need to adopt and support the name server capabilities in supporting DNSSEC.